Well, just as I tried not to get too down at the end of the last episode, I'm going to try not to get too over jubilant here because our start to the season has picked up. The goals have started flowing in some senses, and we've maybe got an indication of what's going to happen this year. So far, though, pleasant surprises, but today is where the real test comes. The first game is a genuinely winnable one, but can we add to the one win we've already got this season? Yes, hello and welcome along to a very surprising part 20 of this FM06 Let's Retro save from Luton Town. Since you were last with me, we have picked up 4 points from 2 games. Defensively on the road, we've been solid again. And at home, we saw a very different type of match to the ones we've seen on the road so far. So is that a sign of things to come as we face fellow promoted side Birmingham today? Well, if you want to find out and see what happens in a final week of the transfer window, then please do put a thumbs up on the video. We've got some interesting news in terms of offers we've been receiving for players and 1 or 2 deals that we could potentially do before the deadline slams shut in a week or so's time. So let's start with a little bit of transfers because you can see the 2 results at the screen. They're not going to get any less surprising no matter how much we look at them. So without having any players in so far, let's have a look at the players out, because while none have left permanently, we have had another couple go out on loan. Craig Baxter has gone on loan to Leyton Orient for the season. Chris Brunt has gone to Sheffield Wednesday, which, yeah, I thought so, is where he joined us from, and he's now gone back as a first teamer after being transfer listed by them. So 2 players that can get football this year, and then hopefully we'll get fees for them in the future. But let's go and have a look at potential deals going in and out of the club, because at the moment, we have just received an inquiry, a bit of a surprising one, for Andy O'Brien from Manchester City, who of course aren't that big club that you've come to know in the modern day. They are a mid-table Premier League club, but they've offered for Andy O'Brien. We've asked for 4.5 million, triple his value. If they offer that, I might have to do it and then bring back an old youth start. We'll wait and see. In terms of future ins though, we have also got a couple of deals agreed. I'm trying again with Aaron McKenna on a free transfer deal, which would solve the problem for O'Brien immediately. He's declined a bit from not playing, but we'll get him up to speed before long. We've then, in case we lose O'Brien, put an offer in for Curtis Davis, who obviously Luton had sold the summer they went up before this save started to the Championship to West Brom. We've offered money. I'd love to get him as the replacement. And to get him and Ferdinand would add so much pace in that back line, which really would make a big difference. The other one that we've got, which is actually agreed, but I delayed it due to the form of one other and potentially not being able to get people out, is Paul Gallagher from Blackburn, who is a very good young striker, can play both roles pretty well. Looking forward to the future when either Pedersen or Howard move on, and looking at Feeney and Morgan potentially not being good enough. This is a player who can offer us that quality in both roles, has scored goals for Blackburn in the Premier League and bucket loads in the Championship, particularly in our first season when he was at Stoke. So someone who's definitely got something to offer. 2 million is a lot of money. If we don't have to make the change in the defensive areas, and certainly if we get McKenna, we'll probably then go for Paul Gallagher as well. So they're the potential deals moving forward. But there are some instant heroes and some new heroes at the moment. What I basically did after that first game of the season is I dropped Nick Basagno back into defence and left Chris Coyne out. Went for a quicker backline and probably a better backline. I like Chris Coyne. He's probably not a Premier League player. Richard Hughes then dropped into holding midfield, and Keith Keane gave us some extra energy in the middle and that extra bit of youth and quality too. So as well as getting an extra youth academy player into the team, a star for the future, who's now nearly worth £1 million, Kevin Foley well past it. Good job we didn't sell him before. We've now got a bit more of an aggressive team, but one that is physically better and one that is defensively more sound, because you've got an extra defensive-minded midfielder in and a midfielder dropping into centre-half. But Basagno is allowing us to play out from the back. I've actually set him as the playmaker to play direct balls over the top because he's got the passing range, he's got the technique and he's got the creativity to actually be our star player from the back. And it's allowing the likes of Howard and Pedersen to win flick-ons and do a really good job. What we couldn't bargain for, though, is what happened in the 2 games after you were with me, because that Charlton game, I mentioned it. Yes, Kasper Schmeichel made a few good saves against Darren Bent, who tore Chris Coyne apart because he's electric quick, and that was part of the thinking with the change. but we had a couple of good counters and we didn't offer up much. The goal was via a deflection, and otherwise it would have been nil-nil, which is exactly what happened 2 games later against Spurs, which I forgot was a midweek game, so now we've got no one fully fit today. We basically played in the same sort of setup, but that extra pace at the back stopped Keane and Defoe getting in as much, and in the end, look, obviously we were the second best team in that game, but Spurs didn't have many chances, you can see that there. They've got a weaker squad than they had at the start, but that's still a very good point for us. The big shock, though, was the home game in the middle. That was the first game after we made the tactical change. We actually had a pretty poor one defensively, certainly Kasper Schmeichel, none of his heroics from the first game. However, going forward, the substitutes made the difference because we brought on Pedersen and Morgan with 20 to go, and they got one each from 2 apiece. We went 1-0 down to Robin van Persie, who was their new striker to replace Drogba. Howard and Nichols helped turn it around before Crespo came off the bench at half-time. In fairness, Chelsea had been arrogant. They'd rested a few. Terry came on, Crespo came on, then they brought on Bozhanov to chase it late as well. But in the final 10 minutes, Pedersen and Morgan stepped up. Both scored a goal. Brilliant stuff. Pedersen scored one and set one up. He was absolutely remarkable and is pushing for a first-team place. And Dean Morgan, the unsuspecting hero, only there because Sean Maloney had negative morale, has come in and has sort of forced his way into the team. So it became a very interesting week for us. And I wonder if that's going to be a sign of what we get as a difference between home and away games. I guess we'll find out part of that answer today because we're about to face Birmingham City before heading to the final week of the transfer window. And I need to know how much work we're going to have to do. I should mention as well, we did get an offer for Steve Howard, but it was a bit of a weird deal from West Bromwich Albion. They offered 25 grand plus Steve Watson and Robert Earnshaw. Now, Earnshaw I would have taken, but he didn't really want to join us. Steve Watson was 33 and not good enough. And the 25 grand I would have wanted up front. But it was a deal that I found interesting. And I love the amount of offers that come with player exchanges in this game. I wish that was something that still happened more in the modern one. We've still got a few players loan and transfer listed, as you can see. Annoyingly, if we could get Edwards, Davis and Newton off the wage bill, would probably cover one of the 2 signings I want. Unfortunately, that's not coming to fruition at the minute. So for now, let's go and get through to our game against Birmingham today. This is the team we're going for. Basically, from the opening game you saw yesterday, the changes are Feeney's had to come back in up front because where we've played 3 times in a week, Morgan's not fit enough even for the bench. So Feeney's back in, Maloney's on the bench there. We've also put Doyle on the bench because now Chris Coyne's a sub. We don't need Heikkinen there too. And basically the only change is that Keith Keane has come in for Chris Coyne. Basagno has dropped back. Richard Hughes has dropped back one and Keane goes into centre mid. We're not the fittest side at the minute. I was tempted to bring Pedersen in, but Howard did score against Birmingham once last year. So we're going to go for the same old effect again. Will it be Andy O'Brien's final game for the club? Will there be any surprise offers? More importantly, can we back up 2 brilliant performances, and especially that first one at home? Let's go and find out the answer as we go through to face Birmingham. We've started the season pretty averagely. We'd love to make ours even better though. Well, here is the squad against the 4-4-2 with the original Fox in the box up front alongside Emil Heskey. Jermaine Pennant on the right. You've got Clements, you've got Clapham. Is that Asa Hall? Oh, future Luton legends. Become a very good player in this game actually. A legend of Wembley from that Johnston Paint Trophy final, and a sort of player we could do with signing with centre mid and centre half in mind, but hopefully someone we can take advantage of because while he is 6'2", he's no Steve Howard, and he also haven't got a huge amount of pace back there. Saidi is the quicker of the 2, but Feeney might be able to get in behind. He's been the only real disappointment so far this season. He sort of started off how he finished last year, where he just didn't manage to put many in the back of the net. He normally flies out the traps at the start of a campaign. Hasn't done it this time around, maybe understandably at a higher level. Good defending there from Anton Ferdinand, but it's behind for an early corner for Birmingham. And actually, you forget how good this team is. Heskey coming in is a real bit of quality for them. As Pennant crosses, Foley heads away. Feeney not able to get there. Clements in again, blocked by Ferdinand. Can we break with Richard Hughes? We can't, but he wins a tackle to hold them up. Serrano back in, Ferdinand away, and now Feeney can counter. Has support to his left, but he can't get anywhere with it. Unfortunately, it peters out, but we are back with O'Brien. Free kick forward. Not sure Pennant would be beating Howard in the air, and not the best there from Basagno, but Hughes saves the day. The extra defensive mind, and back to Andy O'Brien. I go back to the start of season 2. Those 2 boys from Pompey, brilliant additions. And Hughes is the one who gets it this time to Keith Keane. Back to Ferdinand. mean, think of the profit we could be about to make on O'Brien as it's up to Howard who flicks on. Can't direct it towards Feeney. It's just a tame one towards goal. But Kevin Nichols now has a free kick into the top corner. The skipper's arrived in the Premier League, scored a penalty against Chelsea. But that is a wonderful free kick. And the dream is continuing. I know we've started well every year, but this is becoming very different. And at home, we look so much more aggressive than on the road. Maybe this tactic's built for it. Maybe we have to look at two different ones across home and away, because the 4-4-2 seemed to work better on the road. We've got another free kick out wide as Howard has forced Asa Hall into a booking. And we've got men in the middle. Some arriving, not quite quickly enough, as Howard's up, knocks it down, it's off the line from Pennant, and it's cleared away. Only as far as Keith Keane, though. It's been a brilliant display so far. And we go long again. Feeney's chasing it, but Saidi does well. Jeffers up, Basagno chases. Good challenge from him. Hughes finds Foley. He's challenged by Serrano. Clements can break forward, but it peters out with 10 to the break. Now it's Birmingham picking up the yellows. We did get a warning about a knock there. You can see it's Warren Feeney just to the right of my head off injured. And that has cost us there because that ball over the top might have been looking for him before. Major playing out for Birmingham. Don't want him scoring while we've got 10 on. Heskey's broken in behind though, and it's going to happen, isn't it? This would be so unfortunate. But it's nowhere near the target. Great defending. Did enough O'Brien and Basagno. With 3 to the break, we're still 1 up as Foley throws into Keane. The two young Irishmen combining. Finds Ferdinand up towards Howard. Feeney's there if he can flick it. Can't quite get on the end of it. Saidi defends it well. Basagno plays to Baraggi though. We know he's going to lose the ball a bit, but he's creating, and look what it's made there. A brilliant chance for Feeney, which is really well saved. But Howard is just bullying the young centre-half. Asa Hall's having a tough time. It says Birmingham unfortunate to go in behind. I'm not so sure about that personally. I think we've done pretty well. The match stats suggest that we've had all of the chances pretty much. And I think we've been pretty dominant in attacking areas. I'm going to give Feeney 10 more, just because I don't have Morgan on the bench. I think it might be a chance for Sean Maloney here as O'Brien heads away to Howard. Feeney is up with him. Let's see how fit he looks. Plays it off to Hughes. Maybe not got the legs to go in behind now. O'Brien up towards Howard again though. Wins it yet again. Finds Baraggi, who has been quiet today. Into Howard. Major brings him down. It's a penalty kick. And Kevin Nichols has got the chance to make it too. He scored in the last home game against Chelsea. What can he do here? Kevin Nichols scores a free kick and scores a penalty kick. Luton 2, Birmingham 0. And Steve Howard is causing chaos even in the Premier League. Let's get that sub made up front because Feeney's not getting any healthier. I'm going to go Sean Maloney. I mean, I could go Pedersen and really go for it up there. I want to keep some pace on the break. A brilliant hour so far and a fantastic performance from this Luton side. You can see the difference putting Basagno back has made. He's starting so many attacks as Sean Maloney is on, and he's on free kick duty too. Yes, it denies Nichols the chance at a hat-trick, but look at Sean Maloney. That is one of the things we've got from him, the free kick and corner taking ability. And we've scored 2 free kicks in a game, 2 different takers, and that is a huge moment for the new signing Sean Maloney. Still only 3 weeks into his time at the club. As we go long towards Howard. Hall's missed it. Off the woodwork. Oh, I'm having a party now. It seems like the home and away games are going to be very different this year. At home, it looks like goals galore as Howard goes for the banana shot. Comfortably wide. Let's look at another sub. Oh, I'm having a lovely time. Steve Howard is going to get his rest now. I know he's causing chaos, but so will Henrik Pedersen. And he's got a little bit of extra pace, which may even cause more. We've then got to choose between Baraggi and Keane, who are the two struggling physically. We've got Doyle, we've got Keane, and we've got good subs everywhere. I'm starting to believe, and that's the worrying thing now. 10 minutes to go. Baraggi up against Fletcher, loses out. Nichols not able to get there as Jeffers to Johnson, and a big switch to Serrano. Carries it forward downfield. I think Asa Hall might have gone off, you know, as Heskey gets it inside. Drifted left. Serrano's playing a 1-2 with him, and it finds Stephen Clements. Good football from Birmingham, must be said. Heskey's got time to shoot. Not able to threaten the target. If we're restricting them to that from 25 yards, I'm a very happy man. Now, Keenan's come on once this season, as has Michael Doyle. But Doyle's a little bit more attacking here. So I think we're going to go Keenan for Baraggi. Protect those wing-backs on games they've not had yellow cards as well. But what a fantastic display. It's been dominant throughout. And Asa Hall has now come off for Cian Houghton. But with 3 minutes added on, this has been magical. Maloney's up again. Oh my God. Oh my word. We might have found the best free kick taker in the world. Sean Maloney has made it 4-0. 2 free kicks in half an hour. 3 in the game. Probably as many as we scored in the whole of last season. And we might have a new hero. If Feeney's not going to stay fit, and if Dean Morgan is only going to play 1 in 2, then Maloney might be the man. The question I'm asking myself now genuinely is, do I spend 2 million on Gallagher when Maloney can do that? I think I might have some thinking to do. His free kick taking is 18. He can do all the things the other strikers can. I think we might have unearthed a gem there. What a performance. Luton 4, Birmingham 0. And we are on 7 points after 4 games. That is exactly what I wanted to see. Well, I know the weekend's only halfway through, but we'll enjoy the moment where we're 3rd in the Premier League, because it's not going to last for long. The quicker we can get anywhere near 40 points, the better it is, because we just need to survive this year, and all of these points are stacking up and helping. It does look like home form is going to be the key. With 1 week of the window to go, we've got big decisions to make. There's lots of draws being made. Who have we got in the League Cup? Grimsby of League 2. Now that's good news, because we can play a fully rotated side. Hopefully still get through, give people game time. You can see a lot of the players that we've scouted are being looked at by other clubs. Nichols and Maloney, both brilliant. Now we've got a week to try and get rid of some of these players. Maybe do 1 or 2 deals. But honestly, I'm looking at it now. I don't think we need to sign Gallagher. I think I should turn our attentions elsewhere. We'll be back for any news between now and the deadline, both in terms of incomings and possible departures from these lot. Well, we've now got a pretty big decision to make. We're back on the 30th of August. No one has left the club. We've got a couple of youngsters going out on loan, but nothing else. Andy O'Brien didn't get that offer from City in the end. They didn't want to pay £4.5 million. And we're no closer to getting Newton, Edwards or Davis off the book. Now, the problem we've got ahead of Gallagher signing is with Sean Maloney in, we've now got 5 players who can play up front. None of them are players, probably bar Feeney, I would be willing to sell this year, and Feeney's not going to get any interest. So the question is, do I sign a 6th striker knowing that when Howard or Pedersen goes, he might be useful? Or do I stick with what I've got for now and try not to make the squad unhappier? I've also got to bear in mind that if I sign him, I've got no budget left to sign anywhere else. And there are 1 or 2 positions that I'd maybe like an improvement if they became available. Now, he's not exceptional as the centre-forward target man. He probably wouldn't be a first choice there. He probably would be first choice in the other role, but now we've got the free kicks from Sean Maloney as well. We've got to weigh that into the equation. And I think based on that, I'm probably going to leave Gallagher out. If it had been a cheaper deal, I would have done it. But I think we need to save the money for a potential position we need to improve. Now, whether or not we can get that sort of player, I don't know. We've been looking at certain positions, certain options. Anthony Grant is one of them, another player who went on to play for Luton in real life. But at the moment, the one we want isn't quite there. I want to make sure we've got a budget when they have. I mean, you look at Birmingham, for example. Robert Earnshaw's just pops up again. That could be an interesting one because he's got the pace in behind and he's electric and he's a great finisher. But unfortunately, again, it's all of the budget and his wages are a little bit greater. Jola Amiobi has popped up, another centre forward. Again, probably not better than Howard or Pedersen at that role. Just a little bit better in terms of pace in behind. I'm basically waiting for a brilliant centre midfielder to replace Keane to come up, or for a brilliant third centre half, or for a brilliant wing back. And if those things don't occur, I think in truth, we have to wait for the right player to come along because at the moment, we're not improving the squad. We'd just be panicking. If you look at an example of Birmingham, who we played at the weekend, they then went and spent more than our entire budget on Wayne Routledge the day after. So we're in a different kettle of fish here when it comes to the pond we're fishing in for players. But we're just going to wait. We're going to see if someone pops up on deadline day. And if not, we'll make do for now because I think we've got a good squad. We're just half an hour later and there will be a striker leaving the club this window. Calvin Andrew, who you've probably forgotten about. He's going to go out on loan to Peterborough and hopefully get a few months of football there. Someone, again, I'd probably be willing to sell afterwards because while he's had a couple of decent loan spells, he's not scored goals regularly. He's just not developed to the level we'd hoped. So Calvin Andrew is the next one out the club. There's not many more offers coming in. Well, it's transfer deadline day. We've offered players out. We've not really had responses. I've tried to get Edwards for free, but Hereford don't think he's interested in joining. Same for Newton with other clubs, but we'll hope. We'll wait and see what happens. Even if they pre-agree to join in January, just gives us a little option in terms of getting those sort of poor morales off the books. As it is, though, I think it's going to be a quiet end to the window. Doesn't seem to be much going on. We're trying to get other youngsters out on loan. Brill, Stevens, Barrett among them. It doesn't look like there's a great hive of activity. And it is one of the issues coming up. The player values become bigger, but possibly the quality doesn't. And for some of those who we need to get off the books, does become a little bit trickier. So we've got a little bit of a bloated squad at the minute. Let's see if the final few hours of the window bring us any surprises. We'll have one last search for players. We'll report back if there's any news. Well, not to be on the transfer front, albeit we're starting to pick up injuries now. Alan McGregor, followed by Anton Ferdinand on under-21 duty. We have got a lot of players in the youth internationals. Keith Keane and Galula, and of course Ferdinand too. The transfer deadline has passed for English clubs, but don't forget, we are still able to get loan players out. So it might be that the likes of Danny Stevens and Galula still go out on loan further down the line. Nick Basagno is second for August Young Player of the Month. I mean, I don't really know how. I don't remember him from 06. I don't remember him being that special, but he's clearly sensational. So he is definitely one for the future. James Keane, I remember always being a star in this game. And of course, John Obi Mikel used to battle out between United and Chelsea in this year's edition. He's gone to United this time. We've got none of the top three for the normal Player of the Month. We've not made the manager cut, unfortunately. And none of our goals were particularly special, but they all count for the same. And at the moment, we're on 7 points as the window shuts, which I am thrilled with. If we go and have a look at the schedule, reflect on what is a magnificent start to the season, even if West Brom win their game in hand, we will be in 5th place after the September international break. It is something special. We've got the likes of O'Brien, Foley, Pedersen, Feeney and Schmeichel all called up as well. So we're starting to get a bit of reputability about the squad. But let's have a look at when we're going to be back. And I think now, moving forward, I've probably got to show you home games, haven't I? And I want to show you plenty of games as well. I'm definitely targeting Manchester United at home as one of the next ones we show. I think if we get through in the League Cup, it becomes the midweek before or after. So if we get a great tie in that, I'll show the League Cup tie. If not, I'll show whichever away Premier League game is still directly next to it and not sabotaged by the League Cup. So Manchester United at home, hopefully we can do the same as we did against Chelsea, but they're a pretty strong side in this game, it must be said. If you're looking forward to that and you did enjoy this one, a thumping performance against Birmingham City, and please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments what you think of the transfer window. Did I make the right decision to reject Gallagher and keep Maloney as our star striker? Because he looks like he's going to have the free kick ability to potentially save us from relegation. And if he can score even another 6 or 7 of them this year, that might do something to keep us up. We've also had a really good start. Let me know if you agree with my tactical change to drop Basagno and to drop Richard Hughes in. And do you think there are any positions that are a particular weakness as we move into a stage of the season without a transfer window to save us? If you want to stay up to date and find out how the season goes, please do subscribe and turn that notification bell on. We will be back tomorrow to finish the week in style, as we are here every weekday at 4:30 with episodes from this FM06 Let's Retro Save. There'll be plenty more of them to come later on in the year as well, so keep your eyes peeled for that. And if you want to play FM06 and you don't know how to install it on Windows 11, we did a little guide for that up there as well. But thank you very much for watching. What a start to the season it's been. I'm starting to believe, I'm starting to get giddy, but I know that a crash is only moments away. We've got to be very careful with this Luton side, because complacency could be our biggest problem.